Scott Polecast, Polecast Media. Scott Polecast here, Polecast Media. So today, we continue to get more and more questions about schools. So I'm just going to talk a little more about schools. There's some controversy out there whether you should go to a school or just try to get a job without going to a school. So we're going to address some of those things today and talk about whether a school is good for you or not, maybe. I'm a true believer, like I said, in a school because it got me to where I am in the field. And so it's hard for me not to see it any other way. So I'm not, I didn't just walk right in and get a job doing line work. So, there's some of it I can't answer. I can't agree or disagree with that guy because I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that went to school. So I would just like to say, I've been an instructor now for almost 6 years, and what I've seen, what a school does, okay, it's the student, right? A lot of students have no idea which way righty-tighty is, okay? They've never operated a ratcheting wrench. They cannot swing a hammer. Okay, so these are the type of students that, possibly grew up with no one in a blue-collar world, right? So there was nobody there changing the oil in their truck. Nobody there just showing them how to change a tire or how to use a hammer or how to use a wrench or how to use anything. So to me, that would be extremely hard to get a job in our field when you don't even know how to run a wrench. So the schools, we teach those kind of things, right? We teach you how to swing a hammer. We teach you how to, which way's righty-tighty, we do hey, hold it up. The one that makes the L, that's the left hand. All right, so we teach things like that. Teach them how to climb. Climbing is something that, everybody's going to be nervous when they start, I think everybody's going to be nervous. I don't know. Some of y'all out there might have just been born natural climber. I know when I went to climbing school, we were free climbing. I was nervous as a cat when I started climbing. So the thing about the school is all the repetition we do up and down on that pole to get that nerve out of you, to get you where it's just natural to walk up the wood, just like you walk on the street. So the things that do, the drills and things we do while we're there in the pit or the circle, however you got it laid out, is it builds confidence. It builds confidence in a student. So by building confidence in a student, I think is something that makes them want to go into the trade. Learning about the trade. They had no idea. Some of them they've looked at it on TikTok, maybe. That's all they know about it. Maybe they've Googled it. So it was enough to get them interested in, hey, that looks like something I want to do, right? So whether it's line work or any skill, really, if you luck up and get into the trade without going to the school, great for you, all right? But if you're the guy that doesn't have very much to offer to somebody, then I would strongly suggest a school. The school's going to teach you that. The school's going to give you confidence. The school's going to make you climb to the top of the pole. The school's going to, I wouldn't say make, but we're going to. It's the motivation, and while you're here, the first day, is something we talk about. There's 20 students there, right? You're all in the same boat. All 20 of y'all do know how to climb this pole. We're all fixing to learn how to climb this pole. So it starts instilling teamwork and working with peers, things like that. The better guys at the climb start to help the guys that are struggling, then goes on and on and on through the 15 weeks. Once we get out of the learning how to climb and stuff, we start learning how to hang cross arms and start learning how to string wire. Okay, so some of these things are built to me so that the groundman or apprentice, if he gets a job as an apprentice, or groundman or the helper when he comes out, he's got a good idea of what's going to happen the first day. He's been on the pole. He's sagged wire. He run a hand line. He's icing up trucks. He's getting tools, he's getting material. So those are the things that I think prepares you for day one when you get a helper job. It's better to me than just coming off the street and you're not having any idea of what's going to happen that first day. I don't know. Maybe some journeyman out there would rather have somebody that's not been to a school that knows absolutely nothing. So I think that some students, it's how they go through the course, right? Maybe they get overconfident and they come out and they're a little cocky. They think that they know everything. I've heard this. Well, we don't teach that. Okay, that's the student that does that. I tell them right quick, you are not a pimple on a lineman's ass. All right, you can ask any of my students if Scott hadn't told them that. So when you come out, I teach, hey, be a sponge. Absorb everything that you can for the first few weeks. If they're showing you how to do something, that's your job, okay? You need to know how to do that. That's why they're showing you. They're not going to show you how to work on energized lines. It's not your job, okay? When you have progressed in your apprenticeship and they're training you for that to be your job, that's when you're going to get that training. So you're not coming out of a school and you're nowhere close to journeyman lineman. You're 3 to 4 years away from even sniffing his poop, all right? So you just learn your job, right? So if you're a helper, that's what they need you to be. They need you to be the helper on the crew, okay? They need you to do this so they can do that. And once you learn your job, I think I've already said this, once you learn your job, then you are now making that crew productive, okay? Now that you're productive because you can do what you want to do and nobody has to, or do what you need to do with nobody having to show you and tell you every day, okay? If they're having to continuously show you and tell you every day, you're going to get yelled at, all right? That's going to really frustrate them. They've got work to do every day. They have a job to do every day, okay? If they have to stop and tell you 3 or 4 times, that's affecting the job for the day, all right? So it's your responsibility to learn it and grasp it quickly, all right? You're going to make mistakes. You're an apprentice, all right? But if you're on your phone, you can forget it. Nobody's going to ever respect you, all right? Everything on that telephone needs to go away when you go into line work. It is a dangerous job. There's no reason you should be on your phone while you are working, okay? Other things. Don't show up. If we go to work at 7:30, don't show up at 7:30. That pisses them off, okay? You should be there early. They're there early, so you should be there early, all right? Now, if you come in and you're the guy that's coming in at 7:30 every day, stop doing that. Start coming to work early. Now, they're not going to talk to you. They don't like you anyway, all right? But if you continue to start coming in early, well, they might start thinking, well, maybe, just maybe, he's trainable. He's trainable, okay? So you have to prove to them that you want to be a part of that crew. Otherwise, they don't care. They're going to get another guy. Maybe a guy that didn't go to school. Maybe a guy that went to the school. But they're going to get the next guy because you are replaceable very easy. A journeyman lineman is not so much replaceable. You have to do 4 years of training. You have to go, you have to do on-the-job training. You have to do classroom work. There's not just one day, poof, you're a journeyman, okay? You have to earn that journeyman spot, all right? So learn the job that they need you to do. And when they make you an apprentice lineman, then you learn the job of the apprentice lineman, all right? And as you progress into it, that's how you make journeyman. You don't show up the first day at work thinking you know more than the journeyman. That is absolutely ridiculous. That could be one of the dumbest things you could do if you want to be in this trade, okay? That man has earned respect by going through his apprenticeship and making it as a journeyman. You need to give him the uttermost respect the first day you shake his hand, if you're lucky enough to shake his hand. So, going through a school, we instill that in you, okay? We do our best to instill that in students, to let them know that, hey, that's the goal. Yes, the goal is to be a journeyman lineman, right? That's the goal. But that goal is a long way off, all right? You need to focus on the job you're getting when you get out of school and be good at it, all right? The rest of it, they're going to train you if you're good at what they are teaching you. The more you can pick it up, the faster you can retain the information they're giving you, and the quicker you can become a hand to them where you're helping them, all right? That is going to get you into an apprenticeship. That is going to get you into a journeyman position, all right? Once again, these are the things I talk about in school to students. I know that a lot of people do have had students that come out of school that are just about what I'm talking about, okay? They're a little cocky. They think they're something already, okay? But once again, I'm telling you, schools do not teach that, okay? They teach exactly what they need to know. Now, whether or not they make that and come out of there that being cocky, you know, I didn't teach them to be cocky. Promise. I did not teach them to be cocky. So if you're just wondering, sitting around, I said this the other day get off the couch, put the video game down, and come play the game of life. Get some adventure. Life is so much more fun than a video game. It's real things that happen every day, okay? By going to a school, it is a life-changing moment for most, okay? Some people may have had a bad deal at school, right? But any school I've been around, it's up to the student, okay? It's what you put into the school. You know by the second week of school, what's expected of you, okay? You're going to have to take tests. You're going to have to do competencies. You're going to have to climb to the top of that pole, all right? So you know that within the first 2 weeks. So if the student takes it, starts really enjoying it, all right, he's going to be a student that succeeds, all right? Now, students that come in here and just kind of halfway listen, halfway go through the motions, you know, they might even do just enough to pass, okay, to get to the 15 weeks. All right, that's the student. So it's what the student, if you as a student, if you want to become in a trade and you've never done the things we've talked about, you don't know how to change the oil in your vehicle, you don't know how to change tire, right? A school is definitely for you, okay? That's basically Polecast Media. You know, we're an opinion show. So that's my opinion on it. Not everybody has to agree with me, but that's the way I feel about it. One of the reasons I teach is because when I talked to Mr. Dillard the other day, I wasn't a very good apprentice. I made a lot of mistakes, okay? Maybe I didn't grasp things quick. I got yelled at a lot, all right? But one day it clicked, and I started going to work early, right? I started making sure that whatever they're telling me, I knew I was getting it done. You know, this happened pretty quick because, you know, I didn't want to get fired. I would say that most of the people, when they Google line work, the one thing that interests them the most is the money, okay? It pays very well. Even as a groundman, it pays way better than McDonald's, okay? Pays way better than waiting tables, all right? So the money is why most people want to get involved. Now, there's a reason that it pays good. It's hard work, okay? It's not about just sitting around half the day doing one or two things, all right? Doing the same thing. It's not that way. Adaptability, I've said this before. Being adaptable, things change. You're not always going to be doing the same thing. Something could change right in the minute of what you're doing, and you got to change and go do something else, okay? You have to learn how to be adaptable. You have to be trainable, all right? So, you know, if you go to a school, there's going to be more than one instructor. So if one instructor teaches you one way and the other instructor teaches you another way, he's not teaching you the wrong way. He's teaching you a different way. And I spoke about this, okay? If you know other ways to do things, there's more ways than the skin a cat, is what is taught, okay? So one of these days, if I am the sponge and I learn my apprenticeship from several different journeyman linemen, when I'm a journeyman lineman, there's going to be a day that it's not going to work the way Brad showed it to me, or it's not going to work the work Baker showed it to me. But what Trent showed me, hey, that's going to work. I'm going to do that. Okay, I know how to do it all. I'm adaptable. Okay, same way when you go to different crews. If you got a different foreman, he's in charge. It's his responsibility to make sure that you come home with your 10 fingers and toes. So he's going to want you to do it what he believes is the safest way to do it. So do it. You know, if you're an apprentice, do it. Do what the man tells you. Don't argue. Don't say, well, it's not the way so-and-so showed me. That's not being adaptable. That is not being adaptable. You yes, sir, that man. And you figure out exactly what he wants you to do, and that's what you do. And when you go back to his crew, you do it that way on his crew, because that's the way he wants it done. When you go back to your crew, you do the way your crew wants it, because you are working with those people that day. And the crew that you're working at today, you are part of that crew for the day. So you need to do whatever makes it work for them. And if that means changing and doing something different, then that's what you need to do. Be adaptable, if that makes sense. Okay, so one of the reasons I really decided to go to school was exactly what we talked about, the money. You know, I seen what a lineman made, and the fact that I knew electricity wasn't going anywhere and that it paid good, and you know, I didn't mind the hard work. So I'll tell you a little story. I tell a story a lot when students are coming to talk with me. So before I went to line school, I was actually borrowing my brother's Bronco. I didn't even have a vehicle to drive. All right. So the fuel gauge did not work in this Bronco. All right. So on the way home, it ran out of gas. Okay. So I didn't have any money to put gas in the truck, but I knew I had some fuel at the house. I had some gas in the gas can for the lawnmower. So I thought I'll just go home, you know, get the gas can, put the gas in it, get the truck home. It was Friday. I wouldn't have to worry about it till Monday, you know, have some money on Monday, put some gas in it, go to work. I left the truck on the side of the road. I was about 2 miles from my house. So I hiked it to the house, got my gas can, hiked back. Well, when I got back, the police had called the tow truck. Okay. So the tow truck guy's there fixing to load up this Bronco. And I'm like, man, please, don't take it. He's like, I'll leave it for $25. I'm like, I don't have $25. So he took the truck and put it in the impound yard. So it took my whole paycheck to get the truck out of the impound yard. And that's the point I decided. I can't keep living like this. I need to get a career. I need to get motivated into something that gives me money where I don't have to be poor and live like this. This sucks. So nowadays, every 2 years I buy a new pickup and it's always full of gas. So there was a goal of mine. I never wanted to be in that situation again. You know, borrowing a vehicle, not having money to put gas in the vehicle just to make it to work. Those were the kind of things that, you know, that if this sounds familiar, you should start looking at a school. All right, start looking at a school. Get a trade. You know, if I believe it or not, I've had students that have a bachelor degree that have come to the 15-week school because of the money. Okay, they can make more money doing line work than they could with their bachelor. Okay, I've had at least a dozen students that I can think of right off the bat that have come here with a bachelor degree and now are doing line work because of the money. So yeah, most people want to get into the money, but you got to be able to want to earn the money. All right, that's the thing. They're not just going to hand you a paycheck for doing nothing. All right, you have to earn your paycheck, right? And those are the things we're talking about. Being a part of that crew, doing your job every day, making that crew productive, making it where they don't got to yell and scream at you to tell you how to do your job. Learn your job, all right? Those are the things that not only portray into a career, it's also your lifestyle, all right? Sure, when I first started line work, I was the guy that showed up at 7:30 on the dot. I thought that's when I was supposed to show up. I didn't understand any reason why I had to go in there at 7 o'clock and sit there for 30 minutes. Wasn't interesting to me. Didn't want to do it until one day I finally started showing up. And you know what? Most of them linemen were sitting in there drinking coffee, and they were just talking about the job that we were going to do that day. Or they were talking about the job we did yesterday. And those 30 minutes of having coffee and sitting there and keeping my mouth shut started becoming a learning process for me. Okay? I listened to what they were telling. I started understanding way more things about the job without asking a question. Okay? The answers started coming to me by just paying attention. All right? By being aware of my surroundings, paying attention to the details. Those are the things that matter. All right? So you got to tell yourself, hey, I want to do this. I need to know what that guy knows. Okay? He knows how to do my job. I need to know what he knows so I know how to do my job. All right? Other things, asking questions is not a bad thing. You just got to know when to ask it. Okay? If you're just started, or you're a groundman, or maybe a first-year apprentice, and your foreman's standing over and he's got 2 journeyman linemen up there in hot primary, that's not a time to walk over and ask him a question. Okay? He's busy. All right? Those 2 guys in the air are busy. You can watch and learn. All right? And be there ready when they need you to do something. Okay? Especially when the guys are in primary. You need to pay attention. That's a dangerous part of it. That part right there. Once they get in the primary, everything needs to go right. You need to make sure that you got everything lined up. You're there if they need you. If they need something off the truck, they don't want to have to look around for you. They just want to look down and tell you what they need, and you get it. All right? They don't want you over there sitting in the shade under the truck. Their ass is up there in rubber gloves and sleeves, sweating their ball sacks off. Okay? You'll get there one day. Keep your head down, all right, and you'll understand it. So once again, if you're looking to change your life, all right, and you don't know a whole lot, or really, I'll say it this: one of the things my father taught me that I've thanked him for several times over my life. My brother and I both have said this. Okay, thank you for teaching us how to use our hands. All right. So that's what this school does. It's going to teach you how to use your hands. Okay? So if any of these stories that I've talked about hit home with you, all right, then maybe you should start looking at going to a school and changing your life. All right? Scott Polecast here, Polecast Media. I hope this helps answer your questions about schools. Scott Polecast, Polecast Media.